I would say that the prevalence of caste, just like with any other, you know, phases of of development of a community, it goes up and down. You know, when people were migrating from India, let's say in the early 1900, everyone was in crisis. Crisis brings people together. So experiences of caste may not have been there. And then as people started becoming stable, been start living longer, right, in Canada, then they would have started romanticizing India, and under the name of culture, right, they would have picked up on the elements which gave them the pride, right, and then if you're privileged, right, and it gives you pride, it also validates the economic and social power that you carry, right? It also reminds you the benefits it has. So by doing so, you start looking for people to not have same opportunities. Right? So in my view, the history of settlement among South Asians has been like that. There have been times when everyone has worked together when there's a crisis, but when they're not, then pockets get developed. Um, uh, 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 I think Dr. Ambedkar had also taught us that you know the ugly sides of caste system will become more prevalent when you start asserting yourself, right? And in Canada, you know, uh, by by having community centers or temples pretty much in every large urban cities of Canada, is giving the presence. People have also started asking questions, you know, about what's happening, why it's happening, like even with respect to the membership, right? The issue, and then every action has a reaction of equal and opposite strength, right? And then because of exclusion, because of experience elders had at the Sikh temple, they then also decided to restrict membership, right? To the Ravadasi temple. So is that right or is it wrong? Part of me thinks that it's wrong, but the other part of it is it's a survival, right? And but that's a separate story. I think the the other thing is that as South Asians are becoming more and more, you know, in US, UK, Canada, regardless, right? They will also, because numbers are going to be high, right? You have one Devdasi temple, let's say in Vancouver, but guess how many Sikh temples there are? Guess how many Hindu temples there are, right? So how many members of parliament there are, MLAs there are who are non-Dalits, right? So that's validating the power. Same thing with employment, right? In how many business owners there are, right? Who are from the so-called upper caste community. Cisco was a classical example, right? Even though it's not a Asian company, but the management was dominated by upper caste, right? So then the caste element became prevalent. So what I'm hearing is that at this time in Canada, the number of incidents that are happening are growing, and but are people ready and willing to step forward, you know, to speak out on those? That's that's it it's not the same. I know that there were probably about three people who went public, you know, when they experienced caste based discrimination, you know, and then those were resolved. Fortunately, the local media and then many of the people, they they came in, they were in solidarity, right, and spoke out against the caste based discrimination. and then people have moved on. At this point in time, I believe there's a one case before the BC Human Rights Tribunal, and then there's another case, I believe, who's before the Supreme Court. So at a community level, what I've heard is that some of our elders in the Lower Mainland area, they wanted to pay tribute to Guru Das, and like I said earlier, in India they have Guru Das Jayanti every year, right? And as the community was growing here, and the community also wanted to organize and observe the wonderful day. Many of the Ravidasis who are living in the Lower Mainland are from the villages. So in the villages, they're influenced by Sikhism. So they have a greater familiarity with the Sikh way of life, the Gurdwaras, and so naturally they would become members. They would start going to the Gurdwaras, you know, and then because in Gurdwaras, you know, the anniversary celebrations of the 10 gurus is celebrated. Guru Das Ji's teaching is also in the Guru Granth Sahib, right? And so from what I understand, uh, 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 the elders from this area, they wanted to observe the celebration in one of the Sikh temples here, because there was no Guru Das temple here in Vancouver at the time. So when they I think some people were in the leadership, they were pretty okay, and they were supportive. Some weren't, right? And then something happened where the and again, I can't. This is what the booking for the community was was canceled and was given to someone else. So some of the community members, they felt really hurt by that, because it wasn't something personal. It was, they wanted to pay respect to their guru, right? And then that instant, I can't speak to it because I wasn't there. But anyway, that instant forced some of the elders to take another look at and create an organization here. So they first formed Dr. Ambedkar organization under the banner of Dr. Ambedkar, and then from there, after that, they formed an organization in the name of Guru Ravidas. So that gave birth to establishing a separate Guru Ravidas Gurdwara, which looks and which looks just as any other Sikh temple, but the differences are that 100% of the voting membership is Ravidasis, right? And then over 80 or 90% of the ceremonies and bookings, are also hosted by the members. So it just basically has become a Ravidasi temple. So for me, it was when I heard about that, it didn't make sense, because Sikhism is not that, or at least Sikhism that I'm aware of. It's about equality. It's about taking actions against caste system. So that's at the community level. Personally, I think I'm not sure if it was a caste factor or something else. My name does not have the word Singh in it, right? My name is Jai Birdi, right? And Jaipal is also a Punjabi name, right? And it's a Hindi name too, right? And so I think that when I was doing a bit of a research in my school of social work. Went to meet some seniors because I was, wanted to get their perspectives on their experiences on accessibility and availability of services. The coordinator was great, and he was very resourceful, helpful, and then he says, if he says, well, there's a seniors group is meeting. Why don't we go and meet them and then say hi to them, and then you can also let them know about the research that you're doing, you know. So I went there. They were pretty warm, and we started having good interaction. And then there was one senior, he says, "Can you tell me your name again?" And it says it's a Jai, because I don't use my middle name as much, right? I says it's Jai Birdi, and he says, "No, what's your full name?" I said that it's Jai Paul Birdi, and he says, "You should say Jai Paul Singh Birdi, right?" And I says, with with all due respect, Singh is not my part of my legal name, so I can't really say that, you know. And then because I didn't have the word Singh in it, and that one person was pretty influential, and then he basically disrupted the funky. He said, "Well, come on, guys, let's go," and then people followed. And then I was wondering, is it a caste, or is it religion? Okay. So do they think that I'm a Hindu, right? And that 80 or 90% of the people there were, I would even say close to 100 were Sikhs, you know. And then was that something which which created a trigger, or was it a caste factor? I still can't understand. But I think that, I mean, who I am, I also like to give benefit of the doubt, right? This would have been in around 89, you know, and then, as you know, in 84, attack was happened on the Golden Temple, and emotions were pretty high, right? If you were not a Sikh among the Punjabis, you know, you were not a human, right? And uh, so that was one factor. Uh, I mean, I've got some of my close relatives, you know, who are married outside of the caste, right? And fortunately, it's been working great, and both families, ours and his in-laws are are great, and they look beyond caste, so that's a positive situation. But I also know the other side that could have happened, you know. This was some time ago, and I was volunteering for one of the local, TV production groups, the small South Asian group. So there was another volunteer, and she started showing curiosity, interest in caste, because I was talking about Ambedkar and caste system. I've been pretty transparent, you know, about it uh, 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 since 90s. And then I says, you're curious, something's going on for you. You want to share what that is, you know? And she shared a instant which was really, traumatic for her, you know. And she was saying, someone, when she was going to university, right, and everything was fine, you know, and then she didn't know about the caste system, right? And then but and then when the family of the of the guy, you know, learned about the relationship and says, "Who is she?" And he says, "Oh, this is her name." And then her name, was one of those common names, you know, which is also, among Jats, as well as also among Ravidasis, right? And then so she said, when the her in-laws, she was by then she was married. It says, "Oh, you're from this family," and they said, "You can't." They told the son, they said, "You can't marry her. She's untouchable." And then when she heard, she was shocked, and she said, "What's this about?" Because she didn't know much about caste system herself, because it was not never an issue. She because and she didn't even know that she was from upper caste, and and the guy was from upper caste. But when the family did research, and they said, "Yeah, okay, no, this is the name is shared, but she is actually from the upper caste girl," and then marriage went on, and they got married. But she said for her, it's still at that time, she said it just stood out for her that what if she was born into Ravdasi families, you know then what the outcome would have been, you know so I'm happy for them because it worked out, you know in the end. But it highlights that they're probably, who knows how many other youngsters who are not from the same community, right? And but they wanna, you know, start their lives together.
Yeah.
But caste becomes a factor, particularly for youngsters who are born in Canada, right? The other one was was when some of my friends asked me to become a member of one of the Sikh temples here, and I haven't really been as closely affiliated with any religious organizations, you know, and then but the elections were happening, so cover my non Ravdasi friends, they encouraged me, you know, to become a member. So I said, sure, I'll do that because I had nothing against temples. I was going there for several reasons, and also for spiritual. So I said, give me the application. So I got the application, and on the application form, it clearly said that if you're male, if you don't have the word Singh in your name, you cannot become a member, right? And if you're female, if you don't have the word Kaur in it, then you cannot become a member. So I told my friends, I says, look, I'm not eligible, and it's okay. I don't really want to be a member. And they says, no, no, don't worry, we'll go with you, right? And then they'll accept you as a member, right? So me and a friend of mine, we said, sure, we'll go. And but again, at that time, the Sikh politics, they were at, you know pretty escalated. Um, we went there, and the guy, when I gave the form, he put the word singing on the form. I says, look, and that's not my name. Oh, one other thing it was that the form said that I pledge that I will only have faith in 10 Sikh gurus, right? And the Guru Granth Sahib holy book, right? And the naive that I quite often I am. I said, but I also, have high regard for Guru Ravidas, right? I see him as my guru, right? So on the forum, I said, yes, but I also see Guru Ravidas as my guru. And when they looked at this, they said, no, you need to scratch this off, you know, because otherwise you won't be a member. And I says, fine, you know, I don't need to be a member because I'm not going to give up, my value. And then that was a turning point for me as well, and says, well, this is interesting, here I'm saying I have faith and have regards for Guru Das Ji, right? I see him as my guru, right? His teachings are in the holy book, a book that I'm being asked to pledge, you know, to have a faith in, which I do. I have no reasons to not say that. but why is it that I can't, also have a faith in 10 Gurus, holy book, but also in Guru Ravidas, right? And then I started saying, well, there is also Guru Kabir, whose teachings are also in it, and others. So anyone who's written who has contributed, right, is a guru, right? So that was an awakening experience. I'd probably say, I wouldn't say a discrimination in my view, right? But it was more of a awakening experience. And then a friend of mine who also you know was in a similar situation as we both went along with a few of our other friends, and we were both denied membership. And then we wrote an editorial in one of the Punjabi newspaper, and then it got published, right? And and then uh, 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 that was another experience. I mean, there may have been others, right? But I would say, just to give a sample, one at the community level, and a couple at a personal level, whether or not those were intentional or unintentional, or they were circumstantial, you know, and there could be many different reasons behind it, so this is why I'm not holding any grudges against anyone. Those were the circumstances, you know. But those were the ones which helped me to raise a hand and ask a question. Okay, what is this about? I need to learn more. Uh, so what we're looking for is that similar to the work that was started in England, you know, that there needs to be legal foundations, and that provides safeguards, right? So whether those would include making adjustments to the human rights tribunals or others, so legal frameworks are needed. Uh, but I think what we are also asking for is that social awareness campaigns are needed, right? Because you can have a legislation, but until you have created the willingness to have a change of mindset, it's the political will to implement those laws is not going to be there, right? We saw that in England, right? Single Equity Act came to pass, but then there was an opposition, and then it was shelved, right? So our view is that we not only need to see the legislation, but we also need a commitment that there will be resources put in place to monitor and implement. So how we would need to do about it is by working with local governments, right, and by the central, state governments and the central government to help them understand. So that's one of the campaigns that one of the proposals that we put forward to the city of Surrey last year was to create caste-free zones, right? And I know they don't really require much resources, right? So it can be done, right?
Yeah.
But there's strong campaigns to bring the conversation in the open. So we haven't had a chance to do any follow up, but that was in our presentation when we made a presentation to the City of Surrey Council. That was one of our proposal. And I think the idea for that came to us when in the 90s, I believe, there was a movement against nuclear arms, right? And then cities launched and made declarations that our city will be nuclear free zone, right? And to what degree it helped, it's debatable, but it did, educate and inform people some of the positive elements of nuclear, energy, and there are also destructive elements. So what I'm saying is that we believe that these kind of educational campaigns are needed. So our approach would be to continue to have these educational campaigns built into the institutions, whether it's a city or whether it's a universities, right, or at the government level. Then the other one would be at the legislative level. In India, where everyone knows about caste system, they also know, about even some of the temples which are still excluding people, right? Have they gained any? Have they made any big gains? It's questionable. So are people talking about caste system? And in which circles? It's again debatable, because if it was easier, then caste system would have been eradicated in India, right? So in India, because it has also become part of the culture, right? And then so people are accepting it as well, you know. So in outside of India, why it's difficult is that because numbers are fewer, right? And but that wouldn't support what I just said earlier, because numbers are high in India, right? But at the same time, when you're looking at the resources, the reality is numbers are still fewer. The resources are limited, you know, for people to organize, because everyone is working, and the resources are limited. Why is it easier? Is that because of some of the shifts that we have seen, you know, in terms of racism, using that as an example, right? People who came from India, many of them may have also felt the negative side of racism, right? So people are able to relate to what it's like to come to another country when you had privileges in India, but when you're discriminated based on your color, right? How it feels and how it takes away that dignity. So people who have had that experience, they become your allies. Whereas in India, they don't, because it's part of the culture. So that's one element. Second one is also it's also become fairly open and acceptable to talk about and against colonialism, right? And then whether it's about indigenous relations or racism, people have come to accept that the colonialism had its bad elements. It basically killed souls of many communities. So again, depending on the audience, and then even when we're talking about people from South Asia, they understand some of the intergenerational trauma, right? Aboriginal people of Canada had gone through. So then when a question comes up about intergenerational trauma in India, right? I think they can understand it more so than people who are living in India, because for them, what is intergenerational, right? And then it's also not visible, right? Everyone looks the same pretty much in India. So what I'm saying is that in that sense, it's become a bit easier to talk about caste system in Canada. Thirdly, I think because there's a greater buy-in at the grassroots level, you know, and then people at the political level are also a bit more open to be the allies, right? If not the champions. So I think we have been in a good position, that we have been not only able to find some allies, but also find some champions, and not only within South Asian communities, but also outside of the South Asian community. So it's an interracial, intercaste, you know, movement that is getting built, uh, and then it's getting built that not as a mass movement, but as a think tank, you know. I'm optimistic that as a think tank, is then it's a think tank who's going to be able to influence, right? But put forward a business case, you know, as to what happens when you're discriminating people based on caste. Just as we have learned in Canada, when people are discriminated because of racism, right? Then the whole nation suffers because you're not able to leverage the talent. You're missing out on that opportunities. But if you take that one step further, if you're discriminating and excluding people because of the caste, you know, then you're missing out on the opportunity to leverage their talent, right? And then help build the nation. And I think in countries like Canada, people learn that it's not about the skin of your color or the caste or the religion that are part of your merit, right? It's your skills and desire and the passion which people have regardless of their religion or caste, right? And that needs to be leveraged. And and my observation is that there's a recognition for that, and then because there's a recognition that there's a greater openness to counter. The challenge is that we need to develop we know what we want, right? But we need to develop the strategies and develop actions and then take actions more than what we've been able to do so far. So for me, it's about choices, right? And choices in terms of how we react. I get the inspiration from Buddhism, right? And one is if someone is speaking ill about you, you have a choice, right, to react or not, positively or negatively, right? And then if you react negatively, it takes away your energy, right? So the first question that I'm trying to get better at it, is that if I have a choice, do I react to this or not, right? So that's one lens. Second one is that most people see and describe the elements of caste system as it relates to untouchability, pollution, right? The uncleanliness and the oppression, right? And when I think about my ancestors, right, when they experienced something negative in that village and they decided to revolt, and then when that didn't work, they left that village, right, and then to another one. So to have experienced those kind of situations and still not only survive, right, but continue to thrive, right, and continue to have the passion for equality and speaking out. I mean that's what's helping me to be resilient. We talk about resiliency a lot, right? So I don't even need to go, you know, far into the history of Guru Ravidas, Dr. Ambedkar, you know. But when I look at these great noble personalities, I'm saying, look, these are the sources of energy and inspiration, you know. So I have a choice. Should I be letting go these instant and then lock myself, you know, in shame, or should I take the inspiration and get a sense of a pride that this is our heritage, right? We're not only survivors, but we're nation builders, right? And Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar also talked about building nation and described some formulas. So those are the things that I've picked up along my journey, which is helping me to be resilient and have the positive outlook.